Greetings everyone. I Khushi and my friend Medha are going to present our topic stem cells, which is based on the sub-theme health management. Our mentor is Miss Swati ma'am.
So let us examine the history of the stem cells. The consensus is that the first scientists to rigorously define the key properties of a stem cells were Ernst McCulloch and James Still. In their pioneering work in mice in 1960s, they discovered the blood-forming stem cells. At that time, first successful bone marrow transplant took place. The number of transplants had increased during 1990s and after the first successful blood transplant. There were several other advancements like discovering of adult stem cells, embryonic cells, and the use of stem cells in curing leukemia till 2010. In 2016, it was found that stem cells repair damaged scar tissues caused by heart attacks. In 2018, the mouse and human skin cells programmed into immune cells to fight cancer. In 2021, the Harvard stem cells paved the way for a breakthrough treatment of type 1 diabetes that signified the restoration of insulin producing islet cells, having potential to help over 1 billion people.
What is a stem cell? A stem cell is a cell with unique ability to develop into specialized cell types in the body. In the future, they may be used to replace cells and tissues that have been damaged or lost due to disease. What stem cells do? Stem cells provide new cells for the body as it grows and replace specialized cells that are damaged or lost. They have two unique properties that enable them to do this. First, they can divide over and over again to produce new cells. Second, as they divide, they can change into other types of cells that make up the body. Sources of stem cells. There are several sources of stem cells. First, embryonic stem cell. They come from 3 to 5 days old embryo, which is in blastocyst stage and has 150 cells. Second is adult stem cells, which come from bone marrow or fat. Third is adult cells altered to have properties of embryonic stem cells, transforming regular adult cells into stem cells using genetic reprogramming. And fourth is perinatal stem cells in amniotic fluid or umbilical cord blood. Types of stem cells. First, totipotent. The first few cells that appear as a zygote starts to divide are totipotent. Second, pluripotent. These cells can turn into almost any cell. Cells from the early embryo are pluripotent. Third, multipotent. These cells can differentiate into a closely related family of cells. Adult hematopoietic cells can become red and white blood cells or platelets. Fourth, oligopotent. These can differentiate into few different cell types. And fifth, unipotent. They can only produce cells of one kind, which is their own type. Examples include adult stem cells.
Stem cells therapy. The use of stem cells to cure or prevent a disease or condition is called a stem cells therapy. Hematopoietic stem cell transplantation is the only established stem cells treatment as of 2016. This usually takes the form of a bone marrow transplantation, but cells can also be derived from umbilical cord blood. There is currently research being conducted to generate sources for stem cells and apply them for neurodegenerative diseases and conditions such as diabetes or heart diseases.
Harvesting of stem cells from embryo. A human sperm fertilizes an egg. The fertilized egg grows into a ball of 8 uniform cells. The clump of cells develops into a blastocyst containing about 100 cells of inner cell mass, surrounded by a transparent shell, the future placenta. Cells taken from the inner cell mass are grown into a lab dish. These cells grow into an embryonic stem cells that can either renew itself or differentiate into many other cell types. It differentiates into specialized cells like skin cells, nerve cells, cardiac muscle, and pancreatic cell.
Now let us take a look at this image of stem cell harvesting from bone marrow. Firstly, the stem cells are collected from the patient's bone marrow. Then it is processed in the laboratory to purify and concentrate stem cells. After this, it is frozen for preservation called cryopreservation. Then, high dose of chemotherapy is given to the patient. Lastly, the melted stem cells are reinfused to the patient.
Harvesting of stem cells from amniotic fluid or umbilical cord. Amniotic fluid is taken out from the womb of the mother by invasive technique, and from the umbilical cord, 15 cm cord is collected after 30 minutes of delivery, from which stem cells are taken out, and in laboratory conditions they are harvested.
Transplantation of stem cells by bone marrow. First of all, stem cells are moved from bone marrow to bone stream using chemotherapy. The machine collects blood and separates out stem cells. Then the stem cells are frozen, ready to return to the body later. Then more chemotherapy is used to fully or partially wipe out bone marrow and immune system. Then the stem cells are returned to the body using a drip. Then body recovers over a period of 3 to 6 months.
Steps of cord blood banking. After birth, the umbilical cord is clamped and cut. Cord blood is collected from umbilical cord vein by experts. Collected cord blood is safely packed in proprietary transport kits and within 24 hours reach our labs. The sample quality is evaluated and all required tests are conducted for maximum safety. Cord blood is processed by patented technologies to yield maximum number of stem cells. The end product is stored at 196 degrees Celsius for 21 years. Stem cells can be used in many ways. For example, tissue regeneration, cardiovascular disease treatment, brain disease treatment, cell deficiency therapy, and blood disease treatments.
For treatment of brain diseases, stem cells can be used to replenish the damaged brain tissue. This could bring back specialized brain cells to stop uncontrolled muscle movements. Most important use of stem cell is in tissue regeneration. There is a shortage of organ donors, but by introducing stem cells to differentiate in a certain way, they can be used to grow a specific type of tissue organ. In cell deficiency treatment, new cells developed in the laboratory can be transplanted into people. For example, people with type 1 diabetes could receive pancreatic cells to replace insulin producing cells. In cardiovascular treatment, stem cells are used to produce network of blood perfused vessels. And in blood disease treatment, stem cells are used to treat diseases like leukemia and cell anemia and much more.
Types of stem cell banks in India. First, privately held banks. These types of stem cell banks are often known as family banks. During the delivery phase, the parent can store child stem cells for future medical use. This type of practice ensured biological insurance, whereas the child and his family member can use the stored cord blood. In India, pediatrics recommend storing of stem cells only if the child is suffering from genetic health related issues that may need future intervention.
Number 2. Government owned banks. Here, the samples of cord blood is stored and are often used for research purposes as well. These type of stem banks work on public donations.
Third, community stem cell bank. This type of stem cell bank has the advantages of both private and public owned banking services. It is a type of hybrid model where, in need of medical emergencies, community members can access all the stored units within the community pool and benefit from it. This type of unique model is practiced in LifeCell International, and it is one of the India's largest stem cell banks and is third largest in the world.
Top 5 stem cell banks in India. Number 1. LifeCell International Private Limited. Number 2. Cord Life. Number 3. Cryoviva Biotech Private Limited.
Fourth, Reliance Life Sciences, and fifth, Re Laboratories Private Limited.
Now, some advantages of stem cells are they can differentiate into any cell type in the body. No ethical, religious, or political controversies. Low viral contamination. Lastly, it is also effective in generating their tissue of origin.
Disadvantages for embryonic stem cells: ethical, religious, and political concerns. For umbilical cord blood stem cells, limited number of stem cells per single cord blood unit. And for adult stem cells, often invasive collection procedure.
Stem cells research can revolutionize medicine more than anything since antibiotics.
He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything. Thank you.